Hey guys. Okay, welcome back everybody to part 2 of the Is It Fiyah series. Today's game is going to be Forsaken. Forsaken is a horror game heavily based off of Dead by Daylight. If you know what the Is It Fiyah series is, then you can skip this part. But for people who are new here, let me explain. The Is It Fiyah series is here to test if horror games on Roblox or off of Roblox are good. And to help me determine this, we're going to be using 5 different categories. The categories being gameplay, scare factor, uniqueness, replayability, and graphics. At most, each category can be worth 1 flame. At least it can be 0. So for example, a category can also get half a flame, 3/4 of a flame, or 1/4 of a flame. For a game to pass this test, it will have to get a collective score of 3 out of 5 flames. But I must warn you, these ratings are going to be very strict. So if a game lacks anything in a certain category, then it might lose a little bit of points. The point of this series is to see if a game can succeed as an actual horror game. So after that whole explanation, hopefully you know what the Is It Fiyah series is about. Like the video if you think Forsaken is fire. But without further ado, let's start. Is it fire? Starting with gameplay, like I stated before in the intro, Forsaken is heavily inspired by Dead by Daylight in terms of gameplay. The gameplay isn't really like unique, but that isn't this category, so it's safe for now. As a survivor, the point of the game is to run around and fix generators and survive until the time runs out, while also avoiding the killer. The killer's goal is to kill all the players before the time runs out. Each character in the game, survivor and killer, has a lot of its own unique abilities. This allows for a lot of different outcomes for every match. For gameplay, I will give Forsaken of 3/4 of a flame. Although it's just basically Dead by Daylight's whole gimmick, it's still pretty fun. And with the different characters and abilities, it allows for a lot of different gameplay styles. Moving on to scare factor. Now, if I'm being completely honest, I don't think Forsaken is scary at all. None of the characters are really like scary really. I mean, there's Jason, but he's not even from like Roblox really, and he's not even scary either way in the Roblox game. I don't think I ever had like a time where like I actually got scared from playing Forsaken, so unfortunately for scare factor, Forsaken doesn't get anything. If you find Forsaken scary, I'm sorry, but I just really don't think it's scary at all. Moving on to uniqueness. Now, this is another bad category. Forsaken's whole concept is basically based around Roblox lore and just basically killers and survivors who aren't even originally made. For example, Builderman, Cool Kid, Jason, 007 N7, and other characters. Even a lot of their skins are just remakes of different characters from other games. There's a few things in the game that are unique, whether it be like a few skins or just Two Time and Taff or Noli or any other characters I missed, but unfortunately for uniqueness, I'll give Forsaken 25%. It's not really like that unique if I'm being honest, and I think we all can agree on that. Moving on to replayability. Now, I don't know about you, but Forsaken is actually pretty fun to replay, especially if you're a new player. Learning all the abilities of each character, being able to actually beat a killer at some point, and just playing the game is basically really fun. Now, I can say that the gameplay does get a little bit repetitive after a while, but even still, the game is still really fun, and especially if you have friends. So for replayability, I would give Forsaken 75%. Now moving on to our last category, graphics. Now off the rip, I can tell you that Forsaken is getting a 100% for this category. The skins, the music, the maps, basically everything is just perfect. Well, I don't want to say perfect, but it's really good. Like, you can tell that they put a lot of work into a lot of the skins with the effects. I don't think there's ever been like a skin in Forsaken that I would say is 100% bad or terrible. So for graphics, Forsaken definitely gets a 100%. Is it fire? Now that the results are in, it's time to see what Forsaken scores. Adding each category up, Forsaken has got a score of 2.75 stars.
2.75 stars.
Unfortunately, this means Forsaken isn't fire, but hold on, before you get mad, let me explain. Forsaken is definitely a solid game. in terms of gameplay, design, and everything. But like again, the whole point of the series is to see if a game succeeds as a horror game. And since Forsaken has got a 0 on scare factor, then that really weighed it down. You could argue that Forsaken wasn't really meant to be a horror game, but if they're adding characters from like other horror games like Jason and stuff like that, I would disagree. In the comments, what would you have rated Forsaken? But if you watch to the end, then like the video if you agree with this. And if you don't agree, then you can dislike the video and leave a comment telling me what you think the score should have been. Feel free to recommend other horror games in the comments that you want me to review, and yeah. But on that note, bye bye.